have been going really good, but also really weird and at times upsetting. You know my dream of bringing the magic of art to people all over Portland? Yeah, well, I made it come true. I started my own show and called it Art on Earth, and it looks a little something like this. If art is a fiery passion, then creativity is the spark that burns down your restaurant for the insurance money. Hi everyone, welcome back to Art on Earth. Today we're going to be working with clay. Whether you're an experienced sculptor or a visitor to our planet, everybody will learn something new today. It's a super simple setup. All you need is about ½ pound of clay. Out of it, we're going to make a nesting bowl and 3 small objects that tell you the story of you and which to nest inside the bowl. So here is our clay. It's a polymer clay, and we're going to cut this large block in half, just with a razor or a guitar string, whatever you've got lying around. The other half, we're going to cut into thirds. It's kind of fun doing art, you know. Today we're going to be working with a style that is called coil pot, and that's where you just kind of work the clay into a little snake, and you can kind of, mush it around, wring it out. Just, start thinking about all of the cool things that you're going to put inside your nesting bowl. Think about objects that you'll create to represent yourself, and maybe close your eyes really tight and dance in your mind palace while you're shaping this clay. What's a hobby you enjoy or a memory you hold dear? What's the secret of the dark, infinite void that inspires you? Okay, so one thing to note about the coil pot is we have a pretty rad snake going. You're gonna have to take your tool, whether it's a razor or a wooden dealie, and you just make cross hatches here. I like to go down one side and then do the other side and just slash and make X's, right? Because we're going to coil this onto itself, and if you do smooth to smooth, then it won't really stick to itself, so you have to make really vicious teeth so they hang on to each other. So what we're going to do is start coiling this on top of itself. You see how that starts to build a little bowl? I've actually made some things in advance. This is how it turns out. And you can make, a little goofy face or something that, really is dear to your heart. I also made some objects ahead of time. This heart represents my unrequited love for the formless great one. The pollen from this flower, the golden lily, allows me at night to creep through your dreams. And this bowl represents my love of teaching art. And I'm going to place it right here in the larger bowl. And we can take this even smaller bowl to nest within these bowls. I made other smaller bowls, but I accidentally inhaled them. So after you're done with making the clay and nesting everything in your bowls, you can give it a couple of days to dry, and when they're ready, you can place them neatly as a centerpiece at the dinner table or at an entryway to your inner sanctum. And remember, these objects represent you. So once they dry, if you accidentally shatter them, you die in real life. See you next time. When that happened, I really did die. And then I think I came back. At that time, I couldn't really remember what had happened, but I started seeing the world in a whole new way. What is creativity but the magic of transforming consciousness? Hi y'all, welcome to Art on Earth, where we transform the space behind your face into creativity. Today we're marbling with water. We're going to take some everyday objects like mushrooms and your eyeball, and we even have a conventional banana. So the first step to marbling is adding pigment to your water. So we're starting with a really cool magenta. Whoa, it's getting swirly in there already. And then we can add a contrasting color with this beautiful orange. And you kind of just get a little creative and artful with it. Make sure that you're getting those sweet swirls that you want to see on your object. So I really like this combo together. I think I want to add just a little bit more blue over to these sides, and then add some yellow for brightness and highlights. Ooh, so psychedelic. And then you can take a tool, whether it's a chopstick or bike spoke or, you know, a switchblade or, I don't know, toothpick or something. And then you just run it through and make sure those swirls are getting like really, really swirly. All right, so now we've got our artful soup. We're gonna take this banana and we just dip it in slowly and cover it in the marbling, just like that. How beautiful did that come out? Make sure you have your towels too to catch any of those drips. But I'm going to set that here and we'll dip another object. So we have this cool mushroom. You know, put googly eyes on it if you're kind of lonely. And we're going to just decorate it up. Dip it in and pull it out. Look at how swirly. Whoa. And then by now, all of us should be feeling really swirled out in our eyeballs. So let's go ahead and dip them right in too. All right, get that marble going. So now we have a swirly eyeball, a marbleized mushroom, and this really cool psychedelic banana. Let's see how it tastes. Very arty. You seeing this? I couldn't make it stop if I wanted to, but to help myself make sense of what was happening, I decided to conjure it up in my recent experience and manifest it in zine form. I never died for my art, but I was recently killed by it. Hi everyone, welcome back to Art on Earth. I'm Rikki, and today we're going to learn how to make our own zines. Do you have a story to tell, but you're worried that saying it out loud will summon unspeakable demons? Just put it in a zine and let the words and pictures do the talking. We're going to make a no staple zine, so all you need is a single piece of paper and a bone folder. They're called bone folders, but all of mine are actually made out of cartilage. Okay, take your piece of paper and we're going to fold it over once and twice, and third time's the charm, right? So we kind of make this little boop like that, and then we're going to use our bone folder to make the crease really nice. And then once we have those folded up, you stick a stick or a finger or a claw right down the middle and gently tear one panel down, you know, the center of the paper. So you might notice that we have numbers on our sheet here because making books is kind of like, it messes with your head. So you want to note the different page numbers so you know how to lay out your zine for the future. So it opens like a book. So here we have page 1, and on the back we have page 8. And so it's going to unfold like a book. And the thing that is a secret about making a no staple zine is the magic square, right? So once you fold this up, you fold it down like this, and then instead of having it folded both together, you kind of pull up those sheets that have been separated and you crease them opposite from one another, and then you can kind of form your book. So that's about the size that it's going to be. And now comes the really fun part. You get to decide what your zine is going to be about and how it's going to look. What is your color palette? Are you drawing with pens or ooze, or maybe gluing in different textures? Because what we're going to do is, you know, we can take these little pictures. I've decided to tell a little personal story, but we can take these pictures and paste them on our paper in the order that we want to go. So think about what you're making. Is it a recipe booklet or a grimoire of spells you can keep in your pocket and take out whenever you need to hex your neighbor Jessica for stomping around upstairs? What are you even doing up there, Jessica? For some inspiration, I've created a zine that recounts my recent death. And remember, these objects represent you. So once they dry, if you accidentally shatter them, you die in real life. And the moments I spent wandering the darkness beyond. It's in storybook format, even though linear time means nothing in the realm of shadows. Did anyone else see that? So that's just one example, but the universe is open to you. When you're done, you can scan and print your zine to make lots and lots and lots of copies to hand out to friends, enemies, enemies you want to befriend, and friends you want to be enemy. Anyone. So enjoy making your zines, and we'll see you next time on Art on Earth. You can have this one. I've got hundreds of them on the bus. Oh no, the bus left. But that's okay. People have been telling their stories through song for thousands of years, and my story is one for the ages. After silence, the thing that comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. And then after that, screaming. Hi everyone, welcome back to Art on Earth. Today we're going to spread the joy of music by making our very own kalimba, or thumb piano, from stuff you can find around your house or other people's houses or wherever you creep around. For ours, we've got a cigar box and some tin can lids. But if you're no longer a smoker, cigar boxes are a staple of thrift shops, and you can get these cans pretty much from anywhere, kicking around the streets or, you know, in your neighbor's trash. So you can also use like bobby pins or chopsticks, or some people even use spoons. Okay, so what we're going to do for this particular instrument is that we're going to use the tin can lids, because these are really portable and you can kind of attach your kalimba component to anything. So be really careful when you're using things like tin snips and then cutting into metal, because these are really sharp and you don't want to hurt yourself. But you also don't want to really do a blood sacrifice in the musical instruments, because, well, just trust me. So you just kind of go at a little angle like this, and we're going to follow the lip of the lid with our tin snips. And the thing I like about this is, you know, if you do different tines, you can kind of position them in different lengths. But because of the round nature of the lid, you can really just cut your tines right into it, and then they'll already be different lengths. So that really starts off your kalimba on a, you know, a solid direction. And then I like to try to go for an even amount of tines. That's just personal preference. So, you know, you could pick your favorite number, or just depending on the size of your lid. But one thing to note is that you'll want them pretty evenly spaced. So another tool that we have are these wicked pliers, and they kind of have a little bend, which is nice. I mean, you can use them like regular pliers and just kind of snip down, but I like this because you can kind of start to fold things over. And so, you know, just take a little twist to your strips. Again, these are very sharp, so watch your fangs. And then just get them started, bend them around, and you'll end up with something like this, looking like some teeth. Okay, so now that these are all in different lengths, they're gonna create different notes. The cool thing about this version is that you can pop it right on top of your can and hold it just like that. And you've got a little jingle going, right? But because we did it like this, we also can put it on really anything and make different sounds. So if you use a cigar box, you can just drill it into place with a little screw, or maybe like a nut and bolt. But you can see it starts to make a different sound. So I found a thing that has worked for me. Hang on, let me get the one that I usually use, because that's kind of starting to be different. This is one I made from a catnip container. It's a little different than the one with the can top, but we did cut around the top, use some chopsticks to create a little tension, and then painted it blue because blue is beautiful. So yeah, let's give this one a try. Oh, that's never done that before. Join us next time as we uncover more secrets of art on Earth. I guess the magic wore off, or it's in hiding, but I can bring it back. See, today I'm going to be painting portraits, and that will... Oh no, I'm late for my show. I gotta run. Hi everyone. Welcome back to Art on Earth. Whether you work in clay, charcoal, or ink, Well, save it, because today we're painting self-portraits. Sorry, I've been a little off since my sudden death and time in the underworld. I really don't know where or what I am. Okay, we're working in acrylic paints today, and even if you're new to self-portraiture, you'll pick up the basic steps to put you on the canvas in paints forever. So you'll need a variety of brushes. We've got choice ones here for different amounts of detail or coverage, your palette of colors, gesso for priming your canvas, and of course, your canvas. Now for your canvas, you can use cotton or linen. I'm using a shroud. Some shops may even have hemp-based fabrics if you live in the 1700s. When we paint ourselves, we want to capture not only what we can see with our eyes, but what we feel inside. If you reflect in a mirror, great, set one up near your canvas. Otherwise, have a familiar take a picture of you for your reference. So let's get into it. I'm burning to get paint on the canvas. Our first step will be to grab our thin brush and sketch an outline. So I just have a little bit of white here, and we're going to just block off the basic shapes for our composition. I'm just gonna mix up some colors here because one of my favorite features about myself is my hair, and so I just want to make a cool little color that matches. Does that match? All right, so we have our face kind of blocked out here, and then I'm just gonna go in with our different brush and start to make that hair. Make sure to keep on checking your mirror so you can get those proportions straight. And don't worry if it's just a little bit off at the very beginning, because you'll be able to keep on refining and refining your composition. So here's a little bit of color theory. If we have opposite colors, like this little purple here and some yellow, we start to get a brown color, right? And then we can add a little more white, and this we can start to see, I don't know, I guess this kind of matches my skin tone a little bit more. You know, you can really work that. So if you have a darker skin tone, you might want to add a little more purple, or you know, if you have more warmth in your complexion, you can add some more yellow. But I think this kind of matches the makeup I use already, so I'm just gonna go with this. And I'm gonna get in here, and since we already have our guidelines for our features, I'm just going to kind of daub on in spaces that are really going to be represented by those highlights, right? So here we've got the cheeks, the chin, the nose, and the brow. Do you see how those lines are starting to disappear? Again, we're just going where our highlights are. And here's for the fun part. I like to wear red lipstick, right? So I'm just going to add a little bit of that red right into my skin tone, and we're just gonna get those lips represented. Cool. All right, so this is a nice little dynamic piece here we're gonna just pop that in the eye sockets and then paint over that to make some eyelids. We still want to make it kind of shadowy where the eyelids are going to go. So you just want to pay attention to how the light is hitting your eyes, your mouth, or any protruding fangs, your nose, and other details. All right, and again, my favorite feature is my bodacious hair. So I think I'm going to put a lot more on my head and just get really thick and swirly with that. See how the underpainting really helps guide you, and it really doesn't matter if you are, you know, super accurate at first, because you can keep on building, and, you know, pretty soon you don't even see any of that stuff that was kind of bugging you before, or maybe it didn't make sense, but now it does. And here's where you can start to add some of those different features, right? Like your neck. You could add your neck if you want to, or you can have your head floating around. This is your self-portrait, so you know you really have carte blanche on everything that you can put on here. And I like to always just kind of exaggerate things, you know, not just for dramatic effect, but then you can really just kind of take them down as needed and have a more accurate representation. So now I'm going to work on some accessories like my little scarf. And again, it's okay if it's not super accurate. We're just looking for the best representation, right? Representational things, sometimes they read better than, you know, your hyper accurate components. So that's up to you as the artist to really determine what you want to show, what story you are telling. And I'm gonna add my sweet beret. And now it's really starting to look a lot like me. Compliment your stunning self with an appropriate background. Place yourself in a sunny park or the forbidden woods at night. I'll be enveloped in the blood-red fog of Urkula, but just have fun with it. Okay, let's just do some final details. Oh, I don't remember painting myself like that, but sometimes what's inside creeps out, right?
Yeah, I feel ready to spread art all over the earth and beyond. See you next time.